is John, here to give you the latest on Tropical Depression number 4, which has been dubbed that since late last night. It is currently in Cuba right now, heading to the west northwest to northwest, very slowly. So 2 o'clock advisory should be in. So I'm going to go hunt for that. So we'll go here. 1805. So here we go. Tropical Depression 4 is centered near 23.1 north, 82.6 west at 18Z, or 10 nautical miles west-northwest of Havana, Cuba, moving west-northwest at 13 knots. Estimated central pressure is 1,009 millibars. Maximal sustained wind speed is 30 knots with gusts to 40 knots. Seas are building to 8 to 11 feet in the Straits of Florida. Scattered moderate convections from 20 north to 26 north between 80 west and 85 west, including across eastern Cuba, the Florida Keys, and South Florida. A turn towards the northwest is forecasted today, but followed by a northward motion on Sunday, and then a slower eastward motion Sunday night into Monday. On the forecast track, the center of depression will move across western Cuba this morning and then move over the eastern Gulf of Mexico later today and Sunday, reaching the Florida Gulf Coast late Sunday or Monday. Slow strengthening is expected today and tonight, and the depression is expected to become a tropical storm tonight. A faster rate of strengthening is expected Sunday through Monday, and the system could be near hurricane strength when it reaches the Florida Gulf Coast. So that is the discussion of what is right now called Tropical Depression 4. This looks like an older track, so doing this on the fly, folks. So we're going to go to the actual National Weather Service page here, and we're going to go to what the National Hurricane Center has for Tropical Depression 4. So those are out in the Pacific, so we're not. So as of 2 p.m. advisory, depression starting to move into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico. Tropical storm warning issued for portions of the Florida Keys. So the upgrade from a tropical storm watch to a tropical storm warning for the Florida Keys has been issued. So that's where Tropical Depression 4 is right now. It is just leaving Cuba finally. So we will read the public advisory while we're here. So depression. So the summary of at the 2 o'clock advisory, which is an intermediate advisory, the full package will come out at 5 o'clock. His location is 23.1 north, 82.6 west, which is about 15 miles west-northwest of Havana, Georgia. No, it's Havana, Cuba. And it's about 115 miles south-southwest of Key West, Florida, with movement to the west-northwest at 15 miles an hour. Its maximum sustained winds is 35 miles an hour, with a minimum central pressure of 1,009 millibars. So, your watches and warnings. A tropical storm warning is now in effect for the Florida Keys from the 7 Mile Bridge westward. So pretty much all the islands and the bridges through the Keys are now under a tropical storm warning. Now we're going to go through the watches and warnings that are in effect now. A hurricane watch is in effect from Indian Pass to Yankeetown. A tropical storm warning is in effect for the Florida Keys west of the 7 Mile Bridge, including the dry Tortugas. West coast of the Florida Peninsula from south of Yankeetown to East Cape Sable. A tropical storm watch is in effect for the Florida Keys north of the 7 Mile Bridge to the Channel 5 Bridge. A storm surge warning is in effect for Arapica northward to the Osceola River. A storm surge watch is in effect for Bonita Beach northward to Arapica, including Tampa Bay and Charlotte Harbor, west of the Osceola River to Indian Pass. That means for all the warnings and watches, a tropical storm warning means that tropical storm conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area within 36 hours. A hurricane watch means that hurricane conditions are possible within 48 hours. A tropical storm watch that means that tropical storm conditions are possible within 48 hours. A storm surge warning means that there's a danger of life-threatening inundation from rising water within the next 36 hours. And here we go with the discussion. At 2 o'clock Eastern, the center of Tropical Depression 4 was located near latitude 23.1 north, 82.6 west longitude. The depression is moving toward the west-northwest near 15 miles an hour. A turn toward the northwest is forecasted this afternoon, followed by a northward motion on Sunday, and then a slower northeastward motion Sunday night and Monday. On the forecast track, the center of the depression will move across western Cuba late this morning, and then move over the eastern Gulf of Mexico later today and Sunday, reaching the Florida Gulf Coast late Sunday or Monday. Recent satellite wind data and surface observations from the Florida Keys indicate that maximum sustained winds are near 35 miles an hour, with higher gusts. Slow strengthening is expected this afternoon and tonight, and the depression is expected to become a tropical storm by tonight. A faster rate of strengthening is expected Sunday through Monday, and the system could be near hurricane strength when it reaches the Florida Gulf Coast. The estimated minimum central pressure based on surface observations from Cuba and the Florida Keys is 1,009 millibars. So we will go over the storm surge forecast. So from Arapica to Osceola River in Florida, they're anticipating 3 to 5 feet of storm surge. Osceola River to Indian Pass, 2 to 4 feet. Bonita Beach to Arapica, 2 to 4 feet. Tampa Bay itself, 2 to 4 feet, and Charlotte Harbor, 2 to 4 feet. So people that are in those areas where the storm surge watch and warnings are in effect, anticipate flooding from storm surge in those areas. If you have not, vacated the coastline, I would suggest doing so. That could do some damage, and you probably get stuck and won't be able to get out. Rainfall. Tropical Depression 4 is expected to produce rainfall totals of 5 to 10 inches with maximum totals up to 15 inches across portions of Florida and along the southeast United States coast this weekend through Thursday morning. This rainfall will likely result in areas of locally considerable flash and urban flooding with river flooding expected. So along with the storm surge, you are going to have upwards of 5 to 15 inches of rain. Now, I will speak heavily on the southeast coast when the time comes for it. But it's painting an ugly picture for the southeast coast. That's from Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina coast. So stay tuned for that. For Cuba, rain amounts of 1 to 2 inches with locally higher amounts will be possible through today. This may result in isolated to scattered areas of flooding. A tornado risk is possible in the Florida Keys and the western Florida Peninsula tonight through Sunday morning. So in addition to the heavy rainfall, the gusty winds, you may have a quick spin up of a tornado in the southwestern areas of Florida as this storm moves to the northwest and to the north. And for its duration to the north, all of the west coast of Florida will have a risk of a tornado or two spin up from the outer bands as it trucks to the north. So, this is the current path of now. So, as of 2 o'clock, the depression is here. It is starting to make a more northerly turn right now. It will be, excuse me, off the Florida Keys by later this afternoon into tonight, which means anywhere from about here south, we'll have a chance of a quick spin-up tornado with these bands wrapping around the center of rotation of Tropical Depression 4. As it glides more to north-northwest here during the day tomorrow, it will be from about this section here will be next for the tornado risk. Once it gets into this area here, it will be this area in here with the tornado risk, with the outer band. And then you get the onshore push of water as it continues north. So that will be your storm surge risk there. Once it gets to about here, which I think will be Monday morning. Yes, Monday morning. It will be potentially making landfall with tornado risk in southern Georgia and northern Florida. And will continue while it moves to the east-northeast back off of the Georgia coast and here near Charleston, South Carolina. And we're talking about Thursday now. So that is your path as of right now. And currently we have a large excuse me, a large area of severe thunderstorm watches going on in the East Coast today until early this evening. So be mindful of the severe thunderstorm risk inland as well. But this video is solely for Tropical Depression 4. So along the west coast of Florida from here all the way down to the Florida Keys, you should be getting ready, getting your preparations done. If you haven't done so already, it may not be as strong as they forecast it to be, but be prepared for at least a low-end hurricane as you get into the Big Bend of Florida. So that is the latest of the 2 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center on Tropical Depression 4. I will be back with updates as they become available. And for the United States, there is a severe thunderstorm watch that covers a lot of areas from South Carolina all the way up to we'll say southern Connecticut till this evening. So I will talk about that in a later video today. But for now, have a good afternoon, and I will talk to you again soon.